All right, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to History Maker Baseball here on the Epic Sports Broadcasting Network. My name is Dave Little, and we are coming to you live from the Dave Cave with action from the round of 16 in the American League bracket in the Best Team I've Ever Seen tournament. We just finished an exciting series between the Pirates and the Cubs over on the National League side. And now it is time for the men of the American League to take center stage, as two very closely matched teams will square off. The White Sox were the number 4 seed in the 16-team AL bracket, and the Mariners are seeded 5th. So this is a 4-5 matchup between two teams with very contrasting styles. The White Sox finished with 86 wins, with very solid pitching and just a very solid all-around lineup. And the Mariners can simply mash. They've got Jamie Moyer and nobody else who can pitch. But the Mariners can mash, and the White Sox are solid. And tonight we have the best pitchers for both teams on the mound, as Esteban Loaiza, the 21-game winner for the White Sox, squares off against Jamie Moyer for the Mariners. Both these teams won their first games, their opening series in a 2-0 sweep. So they've had 2 days off. The bullpens are rested and ready to go. Excuse me. The hot hitters tonight for the White Sox are Maglio Ordonez, and for the Mariners, Alex Rodriguez. The cold guy is Aaron Rowan. The Gold Glove center fielder is the cold guy for the White Sox, and the catcher Dan Wilson is the cold guy for Seattle. Both teams are semi-harmonious, and the pregame rolls were generous to the White Sox. Esteban Loaiza is hot throughout tonight's ball game. Nothing of note for the Mariners. We're in the Kingdome, which is a dome stadium, so the weather will make no difference. And that is all for the particulars. The Kingdome is an artificial turf field, and it is semi-small both for right-handers and left-handers. Tonight's umpires, behind the plate we have Stratomatic Delaware, our good buddy Chris. Al Red Sox fan is your first base umpire. Bobby Catalano umpires at second. And my old baseball buddy Jim Browning is your third base umpire for this evening. And with that, let us head to your starting lineups. For the visiting White Sox, Carlos Lee will lead off and play left field. Aaron Rowan is your Gold Glove center fielder batting second. Maglio Ordonez, the right fielder, batting third. Hello, Al Red Sox fan. How are you tonight? Ordonez, very, very good outfielder. Quietly had some outstanding years in Chicago. Not so quiet is the designated hitter for Chicago, batting fourth, the big hurt Frank Thomas. Nothing at all quiet about his bat. Joe Crede bats fifth and plays third base. Jose Valentin batting sixth and playing shortstop. The first baseman, Paul Konerko, bats seventh. Tony Graffinino, the second baseman, is batting eighth. Catching and batting ninth, Miguel Olivo. For the Mariners, Rich Amaral will lead off and play left field. Ken Griffey Jr. batting second and playing center field. Did I tell you these guys could mash? Griffey, Edgar Martinez, Alex Rodriguez, Paul Sorrento, Jay Buhner, in that order. That is a murderer's row in the modern day if there ever was one. That covers 2 through 6. Joey Cora is your 7-hole hitter, playing second base. The catcher, Dan Wilson, bats 8th. And third baseman, Doug Strange, is batting 9th. Once again, your pitching matchup is a good one. Esteban Loaiza and Jamie Moyer are hooking up. The umpire says play ball. Carlos Lee steps in, and we are ready for action. Lee leading off. The first roll of the game is a 1-1-6. Is Moyer fresh? Of course he is. That's the first batter of the ball game, and that's a strikeout. So Lee goes down swinging to open the game, and that brings the cold-hitting Aaron Rowan to the plate. tweet it out and put it in our Discord. Thank you, Al. Hopefully we'll get some folks out to the Kingdome here tonight. It's a beautiful night for the ball game. Of course, it's always a beautiful night in the Kingdome. And spring training is starting today, so it is a great time to have baseball on the channel. The pitch to Rowan is a 1-2-3. Is Moyer both flash and fresh? He is not a flash, so that's not a strikeout. But the result of the play is a ground out to shortstop for the second out of the inning. And that brings up Maglio Ordonez, the semi-champion and a full slugger, teeing off against Moyer. The pitch is a 2-3-4. Are there runners on base? No. Is Ordonez the hot batter? He is the hot batter for tonight, and that's going to be a fence check. Ordonez is a full slugger, and when we go to the fence on a roll of 3, that ball is off the top of the wall, and it will go for a triple. Maglio Ordonez belts a triple to the deepest part of left center field for our first hit of the ball game. And Frank Thomas has a chance to knock in the first run of the game against Jamie Moyer. Excuse me, still getting over the last vestiges of this cold, but hopefully we'll get through tonight's broadcast. 3-5-5 is the roll. Is Moyer a struggler? No. Is Thomas a champion? No. He is a semi-hero and a full slugger. Is he a whiffer? Yes, that is a strikeout. So Moyer gives up the 2-out triple to Ordonez, then strikes out Frank Thomas to end the inning, and the White Sox do no damage. So after the bottom of the first, it is the White Sox nothing and the Mariners coming to bat, and it will be Rich Amaral to lead things off. The left fielder for the Mariners tonight looks at the first offering from Loaiza, which is a 2-2-3. Is Loaiza wild? No. Is Amaral a slugger or a utility? No. That goes as a single to left field. And Rich Amaral opens the game for the Mariners with a base hit. And that is going to bring the big boppers up, starting with Ken Griffey Jr., very popular player in center field for the Mariners throughout his early career. And the roll here is a 2-5-5. Is the pitcher a star? Loaiza is a star, and that is a strikeout. Loaiza got him looking. He calls that pitch the Spanish Inquisition because nobody expected that one. And here is Edgar Martinez facing off against Loaiza. The roll is a 1-1-3. Is Loaiza an ace? No. Is Martinez a slugger? He is a full slugger, and that is a double to left field. The lead runner is Amaral. He is semi-active, but the decider die says no. He is a normal runner, so he will be forced to hold up at third on the double by Martinez. And with 2 on and only 1 out, Alex Rodriguez comes to the plate. A-Rod with a chance to do some damage here early against Esteban Loaiza. The pitch is a 1-1-4. Is Loaiza fresh? He is fresh. That's a ground out to shortstop. The infield was playing back, so that will score the runner. Actually, no, on a lead die of 1, the chart here says the runners hold. So a fine play by Jose Valentin in the field to look the runners back. And they are unable to advance on the ground out by A-Rod. Fans here at Seattle not happy about that. They thought that Amaral should have been running on the pitch, or on contact. But he holds up. And it's down to Paul Sorrento now with 2 outs and runners at second and third. Excuse me. Sorrento, 1-2-4. Is Loaiza a control pitcher? Yes, he is. That's another ground out to shortstop. And Loaiza gets out of trouble in the bottom of the first. So both teams threaten in the first and do not score. And heading to the second, we remain scoreless. Joe Crede to lead things off in the top of the second for the White Sox. Jamie Moyer winds and delivers. It's a 2-3-4. Are there runners on base? No. Is the batter hot? No. That's a pop out to third base. Doug Strange moves under it and makes the play. And that brings Jose Valentin to the plate. Valentin made a nice defensive play in the bottom of the first to keep the Mariners off the board. Let's see if he can do some damage at the plate. The pitch is a 1-3-6. Is Moyer an ace? No. Is Valentin a whiffer? Yes. That's a strikeout. And with 2 outs, it will be Paul Konerko coming to the plate. Konerko, semi-utility, semi-home run king. On a roll of 3-6-6, there's nothing on the pitcher's column. Is this a pinch hitter? No. And that is a fly out to center field. So the White Sox go quietly in the top of the second. And Jay Buhner will come to the plate to lead off the bottom of the second against Loaiza for the Mariners. The pitch is a 1-5-6. Nothing in the pitcher's column. Is Buhner a whiffer? Yes, he is, and that's a strikeout. So Loaiza punches out Jay Buhner, and here comes Joey Cora to the plate. Cora, 1-5-5. Nothing in the pitcher's column. Is the batter a home run king? No. So that's going to be a fly ball to medium depth center field. Aaron Rowan moves under that one and makes the catch for out number 2. And now with 2 outs and nobody on, it's Dan Wilson, the catcher, coming to the plate. He's the cold guy for the Mariners tonight. And the pitch is a 1-3-4. Do we have a gold glove catcher? Miguel Olivo is catching tonight. He is a normal fielder, so that will not be a strikeout. Is the hitter a champion? No. We're going to go to the outfield drama chart. Let's see what's happening in the outfield for Chicago. The roll on the outfield drama chart is a 3-4. Is the left fielder iron? In left field tonight for the White Sox is Carlos Lee. And at this point in his career, he is a normal fielder. So instead of the fielder losing the handle on the routine flyout, Lee will make the catch to end the inning. So score that 7 in your scorebook. And at the end of 2 complete, we're still scoreless. Top of the third now, Tony Graffinito leading things off for your Chicago White Sox. Stepping in against Moyer with a 2-2-5. Is the pitcher a star? He is a semi-star. The decider die says yes, and that's going to be a ground out back to the mound. So Moyer makes the play, tosses it over to Sorrento for the first out of the inning. Miguel Olivo now is your batter. Olivo, 2-3-4 is the roll. Are there runners on base? No. Is Olivo a hot batter? No. That's a pop out to third base. Surprisingly, we're seeing a pitcher's duel here for the first few innings because both these teams have very potent offenses. Carlos Lee now, the leadoff hitter, comes to the plate against Jamie Moyer. The pitch is a 1-5-5. Is Lee a home run king? He is a semi-home run king, but the decider die says no, and that's going to be a warning track fly ball to center field. Ken Griffey Jr. calmly runs under that and makes the catch for the final out of the inning. On we go to the bottom of the third. Don't we wish Major League Baseball moved this quickly? Dan Wilson, the cold guy, leads off for the Mariners here in the bottom of the third. Excuse me, it's Doug Strange leading off in the bottom of the third. We just saw Doug Strange in our previous game with the Pittsburgh Pirates. And he is in the 96 Mariners. I believe that was the 98 Pirates we saw where Doug Strange had some playing time. The pitch to Strange is a 5-5-5. Is the pitcher an ace or a star? Loiza is a star, and that's going to be a fly out to right field. Hit pretty deep out there, but Ordonez on the edge of the warning track makes the play, and there's one man out. Rich Amaral, the leadoff batter, is your one-out placeman for the Mariners. He looks at a 2-2-2 from Loiza. Nothing in the pitcher's column. Is the batter a sad sack? No. That is going to be stroked into center fielder in the gap between Rowan and Lee, and that is going to go for a double. Nice piece of hitting by Rich Amaral, and he is now 2 for 2 on the night. That is going to take us to our team chemistry chart with Ken Griffey Jr. coming to the plate. Both teams come into this game semi-harmonious. And on a roll of 2-3, do we have pitching team harmony? The decider die says yes. A marginal pitch catches the corner for a strikeout. Griffey goes down looking, and he is not happy about that. Amaral holds at second, and with 2 outs, it will be up to Edgar Martinez to try and plate the game's first run. Martinez standing in against Loiza. Very dangerous hitter. 1-1-3 is the roll. Is Loiza an ace or dynamic? No. Is Martinez a slugger? He's a full slugger, and that's going to be a double down the line into left field. So Martinez with the 2-out double, Amaral will score, and the Mariners take a 1-0 lead. So the damage has been done here against Loiza, but he's not out of the woods yet as Alex Rodriguez steps to the plate with a chance to plate another run for the mighty Mariners. The pitch to Rodriguez, 2-4-5. Nothing in the pitcher's column. Is A-Rod a hero? He is. That's a single to left. And on a lead die of 2, an active runner can score from second base, but Martinez is semi-stoic. He ain't going nowhere. So score that a single for A-Rod. Martinez holds up at third. And we've got runners on the corners now with still 2 out in the inning for the left-handed batting Paul Sorrento. Loiza on the ropes early here. The Mariners looking to break this open in the 3rd inning. 1 run already in, threatening to score more. The pitch is a 1-1-4. Is Loiza fresh? Yes, he is. Ground out to shortstop. Valentin makes the play to end the inning. But the Mariners get the first run of the game, and after 3 complete, Seattle leads it 1-0. Will that be enough for Jamie Moyer against a very solid White Sox lineup? That remains to be seen as Aaron Rowan steps to the plate. And we say hello to Todd B. How are you fine gentlemen tonight? I am doing just great, Todd. How are you? How are things out in the Buckeye State? It is just about time for spring training to start. I believe the first spring training games were today, so let's get out there with some History Maker baseball. Aaron Rowan to lead things off. 4-4-5 is the roll. Is Moyer a workman? No. Is Rowan patient? No. Ground out to first base. Sorrento takes that one himself. Score that 3 unassisted. And with 1 out now, it is Maglio Ordonez coming to the plate. Pitch to Ordonez is a 1-2-6. Is Moyer fresh? It is the 4th inning. He is now semi-fresh. The decider die says no. Is the batter a sad sack? No, he's not. That's a single to past second base. So Ordonez takes that one the other way, past the diving Joey Cora, and into right field for a base hit. Only the 2nd hit of the ball game for Chicago. Ordonez, a normal runner. Dan Wilson, the catcher for Seattle, is a Gold Glover. So we won't attempt to run on Dan Wilson. Frank Thomas at the plate. 1 on, 1 out. Facing off against Moyer. The pitch is a 3-5-6. Are the pitcher and batter the same? No. Thomas is a righty. Moyer is a left-hand pitcher. Is the batter a utility or a sad sack? No. That's going to be a single down the third baseline. And with a lead die of 3, the runner advances 2 bases. So Ordonez moves to third, and the White Sox are now threatening. Runners on the corners, only 1 out for Joe Crede. Infield will play back. They will give up the run to get a chance at the double play against Crede, holding on to that 1-run lead. Crede stands in against Moyer. 2-3-5 is the roll. Is Moyer wild? No. Is Crede eager? He is semi-eager, but the decider die says no. And that is a ground out to second base. On a lead die of 2, that goes as a fielder's choice. So Cora goes to Rodriguez for the out. Score that 4-6. Ordonez will score. Thomas is out at second on the force play. But Crede beats the relay to first to allow the run to score, and we're tied at 1-1. Good ball game, like we expected. And Todd B says Maglio was an underrated player. Indeed, he was. He was a very, very good player. Crede at first base, and he is a stoic runner, so he ain't going nowhere against Dan Wilson. Jose Valentin looks at a 5-5-6. Is Moyer an ace? No. Is Valentin a sad sack? No. Valentin swings and hits one down the right field line, and that's going to go for a double. Stoic runner on first base advances only to third base on any double except with 2 outs. Okay, so there are 2 outs, which means the runner goes on contact, and Crede will score on the double by Valentin. So the White Sox come off the mat to score 2 runs off of Moyer and take a 2-1 lead here in the 4th. And they still have the opportunity to do some more damage with Paul Konerko coming to the plate. Konerko, a good run producer over the course of his career. He looks at a 2-5-5 for Moyer. Is Moyer a star? He is a semi-star. The decider die says yes, and that's a strikeout. So Konerko goes down swinging to end the top of the 4th, but the White Sox get 2 runs, and they now hold a 2-1 lead. It is the bottom of the 4th now, and Jay Buhner will lead things off for the Mariners against Loaiza. Loaiza to face 6, 7, and 8. Buhner, Joey Cora, and Dan Wilson. As Loaiza, the 21-game winner, enjoys his first lead of the night. 5-5-6 is the roll. Is Loaiza an ace? No. Is Buhner a sad sack? No. And Buhner goes the other way and hits a double to right. So right from the get-go, the Mariners are threatening, as it is Joey Cora now coming to the plate. Cora, a switch hitter. He'll stand in left-handed against the righty Loaiza. The pitch is a 1-2-5. Is Loaiza a struggler? No. Is Cora patient? No. Is Cora a whiffer? No. That's a ground out to third base. That ball is hit in front of the runner, so Buhner will have to hold up, as Cora is retired 5-3. And Buhner returns to second. 1 out now for Dan Wilson. Wilson is your cold batter for tonight for the Mariners. And Loaiza is hot the whole game, according to our pregame good news from the dugout. 5-5-5 is the roll. Is Loaiza an ace or a star? He is a star. And Wilson gets under one and hits it out to right field. Ordonez takes a couple of steps back but makes the catch just short of the warning track for the second out. Buhner goes back to second base, and it'll be up to Doug Strange now for the Mariners if they're going to tie the game here in the bottom of the fourth. Strange moves in against Loaiza. 2-2-3 is the roll. Is Loaiza wild? No. Is Strange a slugger or a utility? He is a utility. He's a semi-utility. The decider die says yes. So Strange hits one off the end of the bat, and it's a line out to shortstop. Jose Valentin makes the play on the soft line drive, and that ends the inning. So we're now through 4 complete, and the White Sox still hold a 2-1 lead as they come to the plate against Moyer in the top of the 5th. Todd B says, how did you choose your teams, Dave? That is a great question, Todd. I call this tournament the best team I've ever seen tournament. These are all teams that I have seen live in their home ballparks. In 2016, I completed my tour of all of the major league cities. Have seen every team in their home ballpark, and that includes both the Washington Nationals and the Montreal Expos. So that gave me 31 teams altogether. So I threw an extra Cincinnati Reds team in, and that gave me 32. So that's how I chose these teams. And the first game of each team's series, I used the actual pitcher that I saw live at the ballpark the night that I saw these teams for the very first time. And since then, I have gone to a 4-man rotation for all of the teams. And so we're seeing Moyer and Loaiza here tonight in the first game of the White Sox-Mariners series. Excuse me. Let's see, where were we? Top of the 5th, nobody on, nobody out. And Tony Graffinino coming to the plate to lead things off for the White Sox. 1-1-6 is the roll. Is Moyer fresh? He is semi-fresh. The decider die says yes, and that will be a strikeout. Moyer sneaks one past Graffinino, and Graffinino goes down looking for the first out of the 5th inning. Here's Miguel Olivo coming to the plate. 1-3-6 is your roll. Is Moyer an ace? No. Is Olivo a whiffer or cold? He is a whiffer, so that's a strikeout. 2 up and 2 down on strikes for Moyer here in the 5th. One more out and he can qualify for the victory, although he's going to need his team to come back and get some runs for him. Right now he would be the pitcher of record on the losing side. Carlos Lee comes to the plate. 3-5-6 is your roll. Are the pitcher and batter the same? No. Is the batter a utility or a sad sack? No. And Lee is going to stroke one past Doug Strange and into left field for a base hit. 2 out single for Carlos Lee. And that brings the cold-hitting Aaron Rowan to the plate. Rowan looks at a 2-4-6 from Moyer. Is Moyer a control pitcher? Yes, he is. Rowan hits that one off the end of the bat, right back to the mound. Moyer makes the pickup, delivers it over to Sorrento for the final out of the inning. So Moyer holds the White Sox at bay in the top of the 5th, but his Mariners still trail 2-1, facing Esteban Loaiza here in the bottom of the 5th. It'll be the top of the order. Amaral, Griffey, Martinez. Rich Amaral, the leadoff batter, hits a 1-3-5. It's the first 1-3-5 of the night. And on a blue one, that takes us to the umpire mini chart. The bases are empty. We have a motley crew of umpires around the diamond. Let's see what's going to happen here. The roll is a 1-4. Do we have a lenient umpire at home? Stratomatic Delaware is your home plate umpire. He is a normal umpire. So instead of the generous strike zone, Stratomatic Delaware calls that one ball 1, and Amaral remains at bat. So with the count 1-2, Amaral digs in again against Loaiza, and this time it's a 1-2-4. Is Loaiza a control? Yes, he is. That's going to be an easy ground ball to shortstop. Jose Valentin takes it on the big hop, delivers it across the infield to Konerko for the first out of the inning. Ken Griffey Jr. now comes to the plate. Griffey against Loaiza. The roll is a 1-2-3. Is Loaiza both flash and fresh? He is a flash. He is semi-fresh, and the decider die says yes, and that's a strikeout. So Ken Griffey goes down swinging for the third time tonight, and Edgar Martinez is on with 2 outs and nobody on base. Martinez squaring off against Loaiza. 1-4-4 is the roll. Is Loaiza a flash? He is. That could be a strikeout. We have a pair of glasses beside that strikeout. Questionable or lenient umpire calls ball 4. Other umpires call strike 3. Stratomatic Delaware is a solid ump all the way around, so he calls that one strike 3, and Martinez didn't like it one bit. Score that a strikeout looking, and we're through 5. The score remains the White Sox 2, the Mariners 1. Maglio Ordonez to lead things off here in the top of the 6th against Jamie Moyer for the White Sox. The pitch from Moyer is a 3-3-4. Is Moyer an ace or a star? He is a semi-star, but the decider die says no. Is Ordonez a sad sack? Certainly not. And that is a single to left field. Ordonez with the leadoff single as the White Sox look to pad the lead. And the big hurt Frank Thomas stands in now against Moyer. The fans here at the Kingdom imploring Moyer to get out of this inning and keep the game close. 3-5-6 is the roll. Are the pitcher and batter the same? No. Is the batter a utility or a sad sack? No. Thomas swings and hits a base hit to left. He got that one past Doug Strange and down the left field line. Rich Amaral is over to cut it off, but Ordonez is going to make the turn and coast into third base. Good base running by Ordonez to go from first to third on that single down the line and left. Thomas holds at first, and we've now got runners on the corners and nobody out. So Moyer is still semi-fresh. He is not yet a struggler, but if he gives up, if he lets Creedy on base, he becomes a semi-struggler. So this could potentially be the last hitter that Moyer will face tonight. This is a big out. The infield is going to play in to try and cut off the insurance run. It's getting late in this ball game, and they can't get any further behind. Here's the pitch to Creedy. It's a 2-4-5. Nothing in the pitcher's column. Is the batter a hero? He is a semi-hero, but the decider die says no, and that's huge because that is going to be a pop out to second base. So the runners are not able to advance on the short pop-up. And Moyer is 1/3 of the way to getting out of trouble here in the top of the 6th. Jose Valentin is now your batter. And that is going to take us to the player experience chart. Valentin is an icon. Moyer is a semi-icon. Excuse me. Still just getting over the last little bit of the cold. But hopefully we'll make it through the rest of tonight's ball game. So what to do on the player experience chart. The Mariners have some really, really bad pitchers. Let's see, they've got Struggler, Workman, Struggler. They have a star and a flash in the bullpen. Valentin is a switch hitter, and he is a full icon. So we're going to roll the decider die. If we get the pip, we make the move. And we got the pip. We're going to make the move. This is big because this takes the player experience chart away from the icon Valentin, which is why we wanted to make that move. So Moyer goes 5 1/3. gives up 2 runs on 7 hits, but he is responsible for both the base runners. Into the game to face Valentine. Who's our best strikeout pitcher for the Mariners? Tim Davis is a lefty and a semi-flash. Paul Konerko, the righty, is coming up behind Valentine, but yeah, so we want the right-handed pitcher. It's going to be Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson will replace Moyer. He is one of their better relievers. They usually use him in the setup role, but this is a big situation, and they need this out. So Moyer comes out. He'll be replaced by Michael Jackson. Jackson moonwalks to the mound wearing 1 glove for no apparent reason and stands in to face Valentine. Jackson will have the ace quality for the first batter he faces coming out of the bullpen in the middle of the inning. Infield is going to play in at the corners and back up the middle to see if they can turn 2 on a ground ball hit up the middle. So here's Valentine to face Jackson. The pitch is a 2-3-6. Is the pitcher double control or dynamic? No. Is this the pitcher batting? No. That's a base on balls. So that was the last thing that Jackson wanted to do, was put another runner on base. The bases are now loaded for Konerko. And we're still going to play the infield in at the corners and back up the middle to try and get the double play or cut off the run at the plate. As the bases are loaded, 1 out for Konerko. Konerko 0 for 2 with a fly out and a strikeout. The pitch from Jackson, 3-5-6. Are they the same? Yes, they are the same, and that's a strikeout. All right, so the manager did the right thing, bringing in the righty. We looked ahead and saw Konerko in the on-deck circle, and Jackson rings him up. The runners are forced to hold, and with the bases loaded and now 2 outs, Jackson has the chance to get out of trouble here for the Mariners. Tony Graffinino is your batter. Graffinino, 5-5-6. Those big numbers can be trouble sometimes. Is Jackson an ace? Not anymore. Is Graffinino a sad sack? No. That's a double to right field. Tony Graffinino goes the other way and pulls one into the gap between Griffey and Buhner. That will go for a double. The runner on first, Jose Valentin, is a normal runner. And so he will score. That's a bases clearing double for Tony Graffinino. What a big shot off the bat of Graffinino. 3-run double. Excuse me. So Graffinino clears the bases, and the fans in Seattle let out a collective gasp of disappointment, as it is now a 5-1 ball game, with Graffinino now at second. Still 2 men out for Miguel Olivo, the catcher. 4-5-5 is the pitch. Is Jackson a flash? Yes, he is, and that's a strikeout, but it's 1 out too late, as the White Sox put up 3 big ones and take a 5-1 lead headed to the bottom of the 6th. And Esteban Liza is looking good here. He needed those insurance runs because he's got 4, 5, and 6. A-Rod, Sorrento, and Buhner coming to the plate for the Mariners, as the fans clap their hands and stomp their feet trying to get behind their hometown Mariners and see if they can't rally from this 4-run deficit. Still lots of baseball to be played here in the Kingdom. The pitch is 1-1-2. Is the pitcher a flash? Yes. That's a strikeout. Loaiza blows away A-Rod. And up comes Paul Sorrento. Sorrento, 2-3-5. Is Loiza Wild? No. Is Sorrento eager? No. That's a ground out to second base. And with 2 outs and the bases empty, Jay Buhner comes to the plate. Buhner against Loiza. 2-3-6 is the pitch. Is Loiza double control or dynamic? No. Is it a pitcher batting? No. Buhner draws a walk. Can't be walking guys with a 4-run lead. And the White Sox hoping that doesn't come back to haunt Loiza as Joey Cora comes to the plate. Cora's a hero, but a semi-scrapper. And on a 1-1-5, is Loiza fresh? He is semi-fresh. The decider die says yes. And that will be a high pop fly that Joe Crede at third base will handle for the 3rd out of the inning. So we are through 6 complete, with the White Sox in control, leading 5-1. Okay, the Mariners are looking ahead. As I mentioned at the top of the broadcast, both teams had 2-game sweeps in the opening round, so they both have fresh bullpens. Although Jackson has been used pretty extensively in every game of the series that the Mariners have played. Coming to bat for the White Sox is a trio of righties, Lee, Rowan, and Ordonez. So the Mariners are going to save Mike Jackson for the future, and they are going to come back with we are going to go with Bob Wells. So Jackson went 2/3 of an inning, and he gave up that clutch double to Tony Graffinino that let the horse out of the barn. And he will not return for inning number 7. Instead, it will be Bob Wells in to face the top of the White Sox order. Wells, a semi-struggler, facing Carlos Lee. The first pitch is a 2-3-5. Is Wells wild? No. Is Carlos Lee eager? He is semi-eager. The decider die says yes. Is he a whiffer? He is a semi-whiffer. The decider die says no. So Lee reaches out and pokes one in the hole at short for a leadoff base hit. So already the White Sox looking to make more noise against this Mariners bullpen as Aaron Rowan comes to the plate. Rowan is your cold guy for tonight. And on a 2-3-6, is the pitcher double control or dynamic? No. Is it a pitcher batting? No. Rowan draws a walk. And Wells has already let the first 2 men on base, and the dangerous Maglio Ordonez is coming to the plate. Ordonez looking to do some damage. Looks at a 3-5-5. Is the pitcher a struggler? He is a semi-struggler, and the decider die says yes. And that is a base hit to left field for Ordonez. On a lead die of 3, all the runners move up 2 bases. Carlos Lee will score, and it is now a 6-1 ball game. Rowan scoots around to third base, and there are runners on the corners and nobody out for Frank Thomas. As the Boo Birds in Seattle start to make their sentiments known with the struggles of Bob Wells. Wells tosses in a 5-6-6. Is he wild? No. Does Thomas have a good eye? No. That's a strikeout. Oh, Thomas's eyes were bigger than his swing on that play. He strikes out swinging, and the runners are forced to hold. So a big out for Bob Wells, and that'll bring Joe Crede to the plate, and it will take us to our baseball right now table. Let's see, it is the 7th. Wells just struck out his last batter, so is a hot pitcher. Crede in his last at-bat flied out, so he is neither hot nor cold. and the pitch is a 1-6. Do we have a hot pitcher? Yes. Fools batter into swinging in an outside pitch, easy ground out to second base. And on a lead die of 1, that's a double play. So Wells gets out of danger with a 6-4-3 double play. And that will end the inning in the top of the 7th. The White Sox get 1 to make it a 6-1 lead. But the damage could have been a lot worse as Wells skated out of danger with the inning-ending double play. It's the bottom of the 7th. Who wants to sing "Take Me Out to the Ball Game"? Todd, Al, who's in the ballpark to sing? I guess I'll do the singing. Take me out to the ball game. It's spring training, and I can't wait for baseball to start. All right, so Dan Wilson will lead off the inning against Loaiza. Loaiza is no longer semi-fresh, but he is still a hot pitcher by virtue of the pregame die roll. And the pitch is a 4-5-6. Nothing in the pitcher's column. Is the batter patient? No. Wilson swings and hits a fly ball out to center field. Aaron Rowan makes the catch on that for the first out of the inning. And Doug Strange comes to the plate, and we go to the team chemistry chart. 3-4 is the roll. Do we have batting team harmony? We have semi-harmony, but the decider die says no. And Strange hits a harmless ground ball to third base. Joe Crede makes the pickup and wings it over to first base for the second out of the inning as the Mariners' bats fall silent. Loaiza in control. Just 1 run on 6 hits through 6 2/3. Rich Hammerall, the batter. 2-4-4 is the roll. Is he an ace? No. Is the batter a champion? No. Is he a whiffer? The decider die says yes, and that's another strikeout. So Loaiza gets 3 up and 3 down in the bottom of the 7th. And the White Sox continue to enjoy a 6-1 lead. Up to the plate is Jose Valentin, followed by Paul Konerko and Tony Graffinino. It's already 6-1, so the manager says, what the heck, we'll give Bob Wells another inning so that we don't have to worry about him later in the series in games we might actually have a chance to win. So here's Valentin to lead things off. The pitch is a 3-6-6. Nothing in the pitcher's column. Is this a pinch hit or no? Valentin swings and hits a routine fly ball to center field. Ken Griffey Jr. patrols center field here at the Kingdome, and he makes the easy catch for the first out. Paul Konerko now is your batter. Konerko has flied out and struck out twice, but he wants to do some damage here against Bob Wells. The pitch is a 2-3-4. Are there runners on base? No. Is Konerko a hot batter? Definitely not. That's a pop-up to third base. That's the second out of the inning. For the life of me, I don't remember Tony Graffinino. Interesting, yeah, Graffinino was a little guy, a utility infielder. He wound up with the Atlanta Braves. So I remember seeing Graffinino play for the Braves a lot of times on WTBS back in the heyday of the Ted Turner Network. Usually on Saturday nights when I wanted to watch World Championship Wrestling, and it was preempted by the Atlanta Braves. So that's my memory of Graffinino as he steps in to face Bob Wells after that clutch 3-run double in his previous at-bat. The pitch this time is another 5-5-6. Is Wells an ace? No. Is Graffinino a sad sack? No. And that's another double to right field. How about that? Graffinino is tearing it up out there for a guy that nobody can seem to remember. And Miguel Olivo, with a runner on second now and 2 men out, has the chance to plate another insurance run against Bob Wells. The pitch is a 2-5-5. Is Wells a star? Heck no. Is Olivo a home run king? No, he is not. So that's going to be a warning track fly ball to Rich Amaral in left field. And that will be the third out of the inning. And that will take us to the bottom of the eighth. Loiza's still going strong, but he's got 2, 3, and 4 to deal with for the Mariners here. Ken Griffey Jr. steps in. 0 for 3 with strikeout, strikeout, strikeout so far. Trying to avoid the golden sombrero. The roll is a 2-6-6. Is there a runner on base? No. Is this the leadoff batter? This is the leadoff batter of the inning, so that will be a single to center field. So Griffey gets on, and we're going to see some action in the bullpen now as Edgar Martinez comes to the plate. Martinez facing off against Loiza, already with 2 doubles on the night. The roll is a 2-4-6. Is Loiza a control pitcher? Yes, he is. That is a ground out to the pitcher. And on a lead die of 2, that's a fielder's choice. So that will go as a fielder's choice, 1-4. Griffey is out at second base on the force out. And Martinez is safe at first. And that brings to the plate the very dangerous Alex Rodriguez. 1 for 3 tonight with a single. Loiza 4-5-6 is the pitch. Nothing on the pitcher's column. Is Rodriguez patient? No. That's a fly out to center field. Martinez holds at first, and with 2 outs now, we go back to the team chemistry chart. As Paul Sorrento comes to the plate. Both teams still rated as semi-harmonious. But the Mariners are not feeling it quite that good right now. Oh, and it's a 1-1. Pitching team harmony. The decider die says no. And that's going to be a fence check. Sorrento is a semi-slugger, semi-home run king. The decider die says no. So he will be a regular hitter. And on a roll of 3, that's a double. And Martinez is a Stilic runner at first. So he will be forced to hold up at third. His run doesn't mean that much anyway, so they're not going to risk sending him. So now we have runners at second and third with Jay Buhner coming to the plate against Loiza. And that's going to be all for Loiza after those 2 big hits. And the White Sox bullpen is raring to go. They need a righty to face Buhner. And they don't have a lot of quality here in their righties. They've got 2 very good lefties. And Gary Glover is a semi-struggler for a right-hander. So you know what? These guys are crappy. Let's let Loiza pitch to one more hitter. And see if he can't get out of this mess. Runners in second and third, 2 outs. Here's Buhner. The roll is a 2-3-5. Is Loiza wild? No. Is Buhner eager? No. That's a ground out to second base, and indeed Loiza does get out of trouble. As Graffinino makes the pickup to end the inning. And it is still a 6-1 ball game. All right, that's all for Bob Wells. He's pitched 2 innings. And the White Sox have their battalion of righties coming up at the top of the order. So the Mariners are going to come back with the worst of all possible pitchers, Bobby Ayala, a full struggler. So Wells did all right. Got out of trouble, kept it somewhat close. And we'll see what Ayala can do here as he attempts to hold the White Sox at bay in the top of the ninth. White Sox at the plate for what they hope will be their final at bat. 1-5-6 is the first pitch. Is Carlos Lee a whiffer? He is a semi-whiffer, but the decider die says no, and that's going to take us to the outfield drama chart. The outfield drama chart is a 5-6. Is the left fielder iron? Your left fielder is Rich Amaral. He's a normal fielder, so he is able to get to the looping fly ball before it hits the ground and make the catch for the first out of the inning. Nice running catch by Rich Amaral in left. And Carlos Lee is retired. Hello, Captain Carl. I missed all of this game. Yeah, it's the top of the ninth. It's a 6-1 lead in favor of the Chicago White Sox. The big blow of the game was a bases clearing double by Tony Graffinito in the top of the sixth that broke this game open for the White Sox. Here's Aaron Rowan with one man out, nobody on. The pitch to Rowan is a 2-2-6. Is that a hit by pitch? The decider die says no. Is this the cleanup batter? No. Is he a whiffer? The decider die says no, so that's a fly out to left field. A little bit of an easier catch for Rich Amaral for the second out. And he makes the grab, and that brings Maglio Ordonez to the plate. Ordonez. 4 for 4 on the night. Triple, single, single, single. Can he make it a perfect 5 for 5? The pitch is a 3-5-5. Is the pitcher a struggler? Yes, he is. That's a single to left field, and Maglio Ordonez is 5 for 5. Excuse me. Great night at the plate for Maglio Ordonez. Here comes Frank Thomas. 2 for 4 with 2 singles and 2 whiffs. The pitch from Ayala is a 1-2-4. Is he a control pitcher? He is a semi-control pitcher, but the decider die says no. Is Thomas eager? No. Thomas draws a walk. And that gets the Boo Birds stirring here in the Kingdom once again. As with 2 on and 2 out now, Joe Crede comes to the plate. Crede, 1-2-3. Is the pitcher both flash and fresh? He is fresh, and he is a flash. So he strikes out Joe Crede, and that ends the top of the ninth. So once again, the White Sox threaten and do not score. But they hold a comfortable 5-run lead, and Esteban Loaiza is going to try to finish what he started. As he is facing the bottom of the order. Joey Cora, Dan Wilson, Doug Strange. Here's Cora standing in, left-handed batter. A switch hitter batting lefty against the righty Loaiza. And the first pitch of the inning is a 1-4-4. Is Loaiza a flash? He is a flash, and that is a strikeout. Fans are already headed for the exits here as Dan Wilson stands in. Wilson is the cold guy tonight. Let's see if we have the opportunity to replace him. He is still a hero, so he can still hit. But I think just for fun, we're going to bring in the switch hitter and full hero, Mark Whiten. See if he can't start making some noise for the Mariners here tonight, as they are down to their final 2 outs. So Wilson comes down to be replaced by hard-hitting Mark Whiten. Standing in against Loaiza. 2 outs away from a complete game victory. Loaiza deals up a 2-2-4. Is he pitching at home? No. Is the batter a slugger? He is a semi-slugger. The decider die says yes, and that's a double to left field. So Whiten comes off of the bench and strokes a double. And hope springs eternal in Seattle. As that brings Doug Strange to the plate. Doug Strange will be taken down. And in his place will be what to do. We've got the lefty Bragg and the righty Brian Hunter. So we'll go with the lefty Darren Bragg. He is the announced pinch hitter for Doug Strange. Loiza is going to be taken out. And the White Sox are going to come with Kelly Wunsch. Well, let's see who's available on the bullpen chart. They're going to go with Damaso Marte. Marte has not pitched yet in the tournament, so he will be the first guy off the bench. So the fans give a respectful round of applause to Esteban Loiza, who pitched a great ball game tonight, as the lefty Marte comes in to face the left-handed pinch hitter Darren Bragg, with Mark Whiten at second, one man out, and the White Sox looking to close out the bottom of the ninth here and send the Kingdome faithful home disappointed. The first pitch from Marte, 1-1-6. Is he fresh? Yes, that's a strikeout. So Darren Bragg goes down swinging, and the Mariners are down to their final out. It is the top of the order. It is Rich Amaral. And if they can get Amaral on base, that's going to bring up the big boppers. And you never know what can happen if you get Griffey Martinez and A-Rod coming to the plate. So the pitch to Amaral, 2-3-6. Is the pitcher double control or dynamic? No. Is this a pitcher batting? No. Amaral draws a walk. And that's going to bring Ken Griffey Jr. to the plate. Let's see, it is a 5-run deficit, so we would need Griffey to get on and Martinez to get on. And that would make Alex Rodriguez potentially the game-tying run. They're going to leave Marte in the game, the left-handed pitcher, to face the lefty Ken Griffey Jr. And the pitch to Griffey is a 6-6-6. Is Marte an ace? Yes, he is, and that is a fly out to right field to end the ball game. So the fans come to their feet, but the ball holds up for Maglio Ordonez to run underneath of it and make the catch at the base of the wall to end the ball game. Once again, the big hit of the ball game was Tony Graffinino with that 3-run double. And a 5-for-5 night for Maglio Ordonez also sparks the White Sox to the opening game victory on the road. The series will go back to Chicago for Game 2, and your probables for that game would be for the White Sox, Bartolo Colon, 15-13, 3.87 is the ERA. And for the Mariners, things are going from bad to worse. The best ERA left among the starters is Sterling Hitchcock, 13-9 with a 5.35 ERA. So the Mariners are going to need to bring the big lumber if they're going to survive this series, because they, outside of Jamie Moyer, they have nobody who can pitch. So here's your box score for the White Sox. 2 hits for Carlos Lee with a run scored. Of course, the big 3-run double by Graffinino, who had a 2-for-4 night. 5-for-5 for Maglio Ordonez. Joe Crede took a big 0-for-5, so he'll be the cold guy for the White Sox in game number 2. If we look at the team batting for the Mariners, it's not going to be very pretty. Lots of runs, but not, lots of hits. I think they totaled 9 hits on the night. 2 by Amaral, 2 by Edgar Martinez. But a total of 9 strikeouts. And a very, very solid performance by Esteban Loaiza. So your starting pitchers are the pitchers of record. The win will go to Loaiza and the loss will go to Jamie Moyer. And that is going to wrap things up here from the Dave Cave and the Epic Sports Broadcasting Network here at the Kingdom. Not likely that I'm going to get on the channel tomorrow, as I am headed over to Milwaukee to watch the Milwaukee Bucks take on the Philadelphia 76ers at the new Fiserv Center. My first trip over to Fiserv to see Giannis and the Bucks in action against Philadelphia. Perhaps I will get on Sunday. That depends on how some other things go in life, and play game 2 of this series. Definitely I will be back Monday with my journey with Jesus. So if I don't see you before Monday, thank you all for coming out to the ballpark tonight. Thanks, Al Red Sox fan, Captain Carl, Todd B. We're all here in the chat room tonight. Appreciate everybody coming out. And if you're catching this game on the YouTube replay, please hit like and please hit subscribe. And you can see more action from the Epic Sports Broadcasting Network. Once again, this is Dave Little signing off from the Dave Cave. That's our stream, and I am out of here.